All right, folks. Hey, welcome. I just wanted to say hi. I'm Jeff Ward. I teach at the law school at Duke, run the Duke Center on Law and Technology, and we are excited to partner again with North Carolina Central. We're going to engage in a design thinking process. We're going to take something that exists, this is as is, and we're going to rethink maybe what it could be, or maybe even what it should be.
It's a Friday in October, and my colleague Jeff Ward, a clinical professor at Duke Law and director of the Duke Center on Law and Technology, is standing in the center of the classroom at North Carolina Central University, eagerly welcoming everyone to the 2023 Legal Design Derby. The competition is a day-long sprint with teams of law students using human-centered design principles to develop and refine a tech-based prototype that answers a question posed by Legal Aid of North Carolina's Innovation Lab. And the students' prototypes have a chance of being implemented. Hello, I'm Jeff Kelly, a fellow at the Duke Center on Law and Technology and a partner at Nelson Mullins. I'm also on the board of director of Legal Aid of North Carolina, and I've been helping with the launch of their new innovation lab. On this episode of the Duke Law Podcast, I'm going to be taking you inside this year's Legal Design Derby. Each year, the Design Derby draws together leading experts at the intersection of law and technology in North Carolina to work with law students from across the state. A hallmark of the Derby, this competition provides law students with an opportunity to think creatively, collaborate, and collectively think outside of the box.
The Legal Design Derby is an opportunity to step outside of the kind of normal law school environment and to take on an issue, a challenge that they care about. In this case, it's a question intimately connected to access to legal services for our community, for those in North Carolina. It's a chance to take that issue and say, you know what, this is not working well, there are things we could do better, and I, even in a short amount of time, with a team, with the right encouragement, can actually come up with better ways to do that. So, in large part, I think it's an opportunity for students to say there are things in the law that don't work as they should. I can be actually an agent of change and help make those better.
This year, law students from Duke, North Carolina Central, and Elon faced a particularly urgent challenge in improving access to justice. Even though Legal Aid of North Carolina is the largest nonprofit law firm in the state, with 23 offices, it's stretched incredibly thin trying to meet the needs of people in all 100 counties, especially in the rural areas of the state. So, today, working in groups of 3 and 4, students were asked to design a pre-intake process or product to help North Carolinians better understand and perhaps even resolve their legal problems effectively. Here's Derby Coordinator and Associate Director of the Duke Center on Law and Technology, Kelly Raker.
And in order to address that problem, we are walking the students through a human-centered design process. And so at the beginning of the day, they are really learning about how to empathize with the experience of people in North Carolina who don't have access to justice, who maybe could use help from legal aid, but are having a hard time getting to that legal help. But right now, in the middle of the day, they actually are brainstorming any idea. There are no rules. We want them to be creative. And actually, this is a really hard thing for law students to do sometimes, to get really creative. But we want them to, and we find that that's where the exciting questions and ideas really come in.
You've gone through a few different iterations of different versions of if you want to do a chatbot or change the phone system of people calling in, and we kind of narrow down that we're going to definitely do the chatbot right now, powered by AI. I think the thing that we're still struggling with is what that's going to look like from a user perspective. And so we're in the process of building that out.
I guess one challenge we realized is that a specific solution to a problem can sometimes exacerbate other issues. And so something we realized pretty early on was that by creating a digital solution, you cause further problems with the urban-rural divide. And if you specifically address a rural issue, you've then possibly missed out on the bigger section of urban issues. And so that by doing a solution in one area, you can sometimes miss other problems and kind of figuring out how to both create a solution that's focused while also addressing a wide issue.
Now in its 4th year, the Derby is made possible by the Duke Center on Law and Technology's partnership with North Carolina Central's Technology Law and Policy Center, and this year, we're collaborating with Legal Aid of North Carolina.
We've probably done this 10 times now. We've been doing this collaboratively with North Carolina Central Law School for several years now. And one of the reasons we love doing this together is that we're neighbors, we serve the same community, and we like to invite students from schools all across North Carolina to take part in this so that we can be creating real solutions for our community in our state.
As teams move through the stages of the design process, ideate, prototype, and iterate, they're assisted by law and tech experts like Ward and myself, as well as those from Legal Aid and North Carolina Central. Here's Diane Littlejohn, a North Carolina Central alum and executive director of the North Carolina Central Technology Law and Policy Center.
This is our second year that I've been involved with the Derby. Essentially, my role here is a mentor to students. Essentially, we're helping them try to solve some really pressing legal problems. The issue that we're tackling today is access to justice and kind of solutions that we can use to close that access to justice gap.
This year's a first for the Derby, with students being faced with devising a solution for a real-world access to justice issue. Ideas from today's Derby will be considered for development and implementation by the Legal Aid of North Carolina Innovation Lab. Led by Chief Innovation Officer Cherie Gilchrist, the lab is a dedicated hub for identifying and implementing innovative tech-based ideas that can help bridge the justice gap.
For the students, it also gives them real-world experience, right? They have an opportunity to work on projects that will directly benefit not just legal aid, but also the clients that we serve. And for the Innovation Lab, it gives us an opportunity to collaborate, and that collaborative effort can help the Innovation Lab stay at the forefront of legal technology and policy developments. It also gives us a way to scale projects that we're developing and initiatives that we're embarking on by increasing the reach and the impact of our work. And I think probably the best benefit is the exchange of ideas and the practices that we share. It will just enhance the effectiveness of both of our institutions in addressing challenges.
As each team prepared to pitch their ideas, it was impactful to hear students talk about how they become more empathetic about the complexities often faced by people seeking access to justice.
I think it's been really interesting to have this opportunity to think about these issues in a broader context, because as law students, we tend to think about legal issues as legal issues and just think about ways how to, standing from the law's perspective, how these issues will get resolved, but we don't realize that a lot of times there are broader societal issues that are preventing legal issues or other things from being resolved. So it's been really interesting to see things from the other side and being able to also think about creative strategies and ideas that could help solve these issues rather than just relying on concrete laws and case laws that we use in class.
But undaunted, the students were definitely excited about their ideas possibly being implemented by the Legal Aid of North Carolina Innovation Lab as an instrument for change.
I think it's really exciting to be able to do something that, like, if it actually comes into being, like, there are a lot more people that are going to get help and be smarter, like, learn more about how to do things for themselves. Like, that's really exciting to me.
The winning team, comprised of North Carolina Central Law's Donna Dodson and Aaliyah Harrison, and Duke Law's Joran Biggs and Alex Newman, pitched a tool they called Lance E, or Legal Aid of North Carolina eScreening.
All right, so we are Lance E, or the LANC e-screening tool. And so the purpose of this is to address the problem, the high volume calls that are directed to the LANC that are not specifically legal issues that the LANC can solve.
It uses generative AI to answer questions for potential clients interested in seeking services. The algorithm behind the AI would be trained using data from questions asked by real people and answered by legal aid staff, and answers would be cited to help build trust in the tool. Students may receive financial support, academic credit, mentoring, and other resources in the spring or summer of 2024 to explore, build, and implement their ideas in partnership with Legal Aid of North Carolina's Innovation Lab. Each year, the Derby presents a unique opportunity for students to get hands-on experience with the design process and develop critical skills that serve them whether they go into private or public practice. To learn more about the Legal Design Derby, visit us at sites.law.duke.edu/legaldesign. I also encourage you to learn more about our partners, Legal Aid of North Carolina and their new Innovation Lab, as well as the Technology Law and Policy Center at North Carolina Central University. And a special thanks to our sponsors, Lawyers Mutual Consulting and Services and LexisNexis, for their support. This spring, law students will have another opportunity to participate in a design derby. This time, we're going to be focusing on imagining a better future for contracts practice. The Duke Center on Law and Tech is currently accepting applications from law faculty to serve as site leaders at their home institutions. To find out more and apply, visit sites.law.duke.edu/futurecontracts. For the Duke Center on Law and Tech, I'm Jeff Kelly. Thanks for joining me for this episode of the Duke Law Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, go Duke.